But again, if they're released in any way, it's going to be very redacted. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files, and have a very slanted version of it come out where it's like, look at what he's doing without releasing any of their bad behavior.
I'm sorry, what was that? And more importantly, who was that? Turns out that guy right there is the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations at the DOJ. And his name is Joseph Schnitt. And Joseph there was recently on a date and didn't know he was being recorded and said some very interesting things about the ongoing Epstein saga that you have got to hear for yourself, because this video is about to go viral and the DOJ is already trying to clean it up or maybe cover it up. So hit subscribe to Really American Media and let's unpack this bombshell. This is all coming from a guy named James O'Keefe with O'Keefe Media Group, also known as OMG, and he's a conservative political activist with Project Veritas, and they are well known for undercover operations like this. And although, yeah, he's a conservative, we're currently in this weird moment where some liberals and some MAGA types actually want the same thing: full disclosure on the Epstein files. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's weird times. And Schnitt there has already confirmed that this video is real when he posted today that he met this woman going by the name of Skylar on Hinge, and they went on 2 dates in August. She never said that she was a reporter, so Mr. Schnitt had no reason to censor himself, and the date seemed normal. I mean, at first it did.
What do you do for work again?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with like all the federal law enforcement agencies and the U.S. attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. The thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies, like the Bureau of Prisons, the Marshal Service, the FBI, U.S. attorney's offices.
Yeah, so it sounds like normal first date chit-chat about what he does for a living. But then Skylar apparently asks him, like, hey, so what's up with those Epstein files? And his answer certainly seems legit based on what we already know.
You know, internally, there's a lot of, even within the administration, there's internal conflict.
Okay.
Like, the head of FBI really wants it. Second in command at FBI has been, like, causing problems because he's like, no, these have to be released.
Yeah. So the FBI wants them out.
Yep, the top 2 guys there do that.
And Bonnie does it.
I don't know what Bonnie wants. Bonnie wants whatever she wants.
Sure.
Yeah, so all of that tracks with what we know about Kash Patel and Dan Bongino wanting the public release of the Epstein files. At least that's what they wanted before they got hired by Trump. And what he said about Bondi being a yes person to Trump is, of course, completely accurate. So far, so good. Then Skylar asks if the Epstein files, are they ever going to get released? And he immediately answers with zero hesitation and makes this very shocking statement.
Think like the stuff with Epstein will actually get released or not at all?
If it does, it'll be heavily redacted and his name won't be in it.
Well, those files do exist.
There's files.
Yeah.
For sure. There's, thousands and thousands of pages of files. But again, if they're released in any way, it's going to be very redacted. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files, and have a very slanted version of it come out where it's like, look at what he's doing without releasing any of their bad behavior.
Yeah, you heard it right. The guy just said, well, not knowing he's being recorded, that the Trump DOJ will release the files, but they're going to redact any conservatives and only leave the liberals in there. And when he said his name will be redacted, he's, of course, referring to Trump. And at no point does he say, hey, that's just my guess, or that's just what I'm hearing in the media. He simply stated it as his understanding of the situation as a guy that works at the DOJ. He's not some entry-level guy. And then his date asks him about Ghislaine Maxwell, and he gives the only answer that makes any sense as to why she got transferred to a minimum security prison right after talking to Trump's cronies at the DOJ.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. And they're not supposed to get minimum security prisons, which is an interesting detail because she's getting a benefit, which means they're offering her something to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah, they're offering her something to keep her mouth shut. And that right there is a rare moment of honesty that people in the Trump regime will only offer up when they don't know they're being recorded. And that moment of honesty quickly came to an end today when Mr. Schnitt put out this public statement on the DOJ X page, saying in part that he never discussed what he does at the DOJ, which we know is not true because I just played the clip of him discussing what he does at the DOJ. And then he specifically says, like, hey, I told her my comments were only based on reports I heard in the media, which we never hear him say. And as I pointed out, he answered the questions with zero hesitation. Not to mention his assertions that all the GOPers are going to be redacted and that Maxwell was transferred to keep her mouth shut. None of that has been reported in the media as fact. So where did he get all that from, if not from his job? So, do we believe what he said when he didn't know he was being recorded, or should we believe him now that he's been outed and is just trying to cover his ass? And OMG Media is not the only mega type to be pushing back on the Epstein file stonewalling. Besides OMG, we also heard from MTG right after Trump said that this was all a Democrat hoax.
Today, he called it a hoax. While these women were speaking out, It's not a hoax because Jeffrey Epstein is a convicted pedophile. That takes away the whole hoax things. It's not a hoax. It's not a lie. One of the Trump admin officials came out and called this a hostile act against the Trump administration. Well, that coward attacked me and attacked anybody else and called it a hostile act. The hostile act was Jeffrey Epstein raping 14-year-old girls. That was the hostile act, and it's not a hoax.
Yeah, listen, I hate to say that Marjorie Taylor Greene is right about anything, but had to happen eventually. And the fact that other mega types are trying to silence her, that should speak volumes.
The survivors
Democrats
are
are
asking.
the only ones that went out there every day in front of these cameras to play politics.
No,
They didn't give a
Marjorie
damn.
Taylor
They
Greene
didn't
is
care.
not a Democrat.
Hold on. Yeah, exactly.
Any day of the
Marjorie
week.
Let's
Taylor
be
Greene's
clear
not
about-
a Democrat.
hold on, let me say this about
Thomas
Marjorie Taylor
Massey's
Greene.
not a
Hold on,
Democrat.
let me say this.
Hold on a second.
She's never found a camera she didn't love.
Hold on a second.
Please.
I'm not going to
Like the
defend her.
president? These folks are
Again, I'm
Or
talking
any
about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
politician.
I'm not a
right.
fan.
Hold on a
I wanna
second.
be clear.
This is not about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, so this new video out today is a major bombshell, and the fallout has only just begun. And I'll go ahead and predict right now, Mr. Schnitt is about to be filing for unemployment because speaking truth to power, that is not something the Trump world is ever looking for. So please, like this video, comment below, let me know. Do you believe what the guy said before or after he knew he was being recorded? Get vocal. From the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve podcast, I'm Steve Harness for Really American Media.